this is the newest addition to Primal Fear, Unofficial Extras, and I will be playing with my pal Ikisa for 100 days. Pikkon's Revenge is known for being the very endgame boss, but what if I told you there exists one beyond Pikkon? In order to find that out, I will have to take down the demonic Empress, a Celestial Emperor, Nova the Destroyer, Pikkon the Creator, and the Colossus Elementals. But will I be able to defeat all of these bosses within 100 days? Well, to find that out, I gotta put this to the test. So let's get over to the beach. Alright, we are in! It's me, Paper, back with another video. It's been a very long time since I last played Primal Fear, but I am ready for an adventure. I was in the middle of gathering and I climbed up on this rock here just to avoid the very butt deadly Dodo? Huh? Oh, come on. Okay, aside from my first death, I have now partnered with Shockbite, so if you guys are in need of a server, use my code to get 25% off your first server purchase. But yet again, when I was looking at the engram list, I got backstabbed. Men vad fan. I had to try retrieving my gear. Then I saw a primal do in the water, but it was whatever at this point. I retrieved my gear without too much worry, but I had to try working on getting a bed down and a bola to defend myself better. Saw a couple of easy targets on the beach, so I tried killing this Pegomastex, but he was being an ass and not dying. Down from there. He was starting to resemble a porcupine more than anything. I just wanted to go back to my campfire, but there was a stupid raptor there now instead. I managed to make the bola and I ran back to my campfire to bola the raptor and pick up my campfire. I am sheep, I'm very sheep. Well, the raptor was bolad and I wanted to see if I could kill it, but I honestly didn't realize it was a freaking apex raptor. They have quite a lot of HP. I heard a couple of explosions and I decided to go the opposite way instead. I crossed over the river and I got jumped by a raptor only to be killed by fish? Oh, okay, that's my death. So I got back to my body, but I got pushed back into the water by piranha. Oh my god! I really couldn't get back in the water again. There was a whole school of piranhas waiting for my naked butt. Dude, you're camping my body. Well, they swam away and I could pick up my gear and move on. This was my first time playing the Olympus map and it had explorer notes. Interesting. An alpha dodo was clucking my way, so I had no other choice but to fight it. I bowled it and I almost got pecked to death. Ouch. Oh my god. I was so hurt right now and not having a bed down really puts me in a bad position. So I started gathering a bit of stuff for some structures and a bed. I've been so close to dying this many times already. I put down some foundations with a couple of beds. There was also a new engram that I haven't seen before, so it's been a good while since I last played Primal Fear. Toxic veggie cupcake, that's new. There were a lot of flames in the distance, but there was no way I was gonna go find out who made it. I managed to find a dead toxic dodo on the beach that I quickly harvested, only to be chased by an angry trike. Further into the sticks, I found a couple of metal rocks I wanted to mine, but this carno was just hanging around for no reason and chased me real good. I saw a demonic monkey in the distance and I was gonna chance it and lead the carno to it, but I never made it. Oh my god. I kinda put myself in a bad position, so I threw my fist against the monkey here. Help me, monkey! I did not feel that very smart at this moment. Getting my stuff back wasn't exactly easy. Why is there so many dinos here? Please! Then I was out of spawn points like, oh my god. I was contemplating if it was worth trying to get my stuff back or make a new set. But an apex raptor violated my rights. Are you serious? Oh my god. Somehow I managed to get back to my base, but I still haven't been able to recover my body. So I decided to make a new set and tools and paper armor. So now I could run back to the metal I saw from before, so I harvested it. I need better tools ASAP. So that's new? Elder Fjordhawk out of nowhere? Interesting. I had to get some narcotics and a flyer going. This place is just way too dangerous. While waiting for the meat to spoil, I'll make a crossbow for now. Those explosions I hear in the distance is very worrying to me. I was able to make some trank arrows and we were off looking for a possible flyer. I went for a drop with the circle around it and I almost got killed by piranhas again. Yeah, I forgot that alpha creatures, including parasaurs, are aggressive. Now I got the saddle, now I need a dino. I managed to scout one in the distance, but a stupid alpha dodo clearly wasn't gonna let me tame it in peace. I bowled this Terra and I shoved up some meat into it. I named it Peter because it kinda looked like one. Now when I had a flyer I could scout for possible base locations. But it seems like this beach was ending here, so I flew to the opposite direction instead. I got up to the green obelisk, but there is no shot I am living up here. There was a small little island, but I quickly turned around when I saw some fjord hawks. I found a bit of metal that I just had to grab. It was safe here. Back at base, I saw the very fjord hawk that killed me once, and I tried to bowl it, but no! It almost killed me and Peter freaked out. I managed to escape safe and sound with Peter. That was definitely the cue to pack my bags and move my base. On day 3, I checked out this pillar and it didn't seem like anything spawned around here. It felt perfect for now, so I put down my stuff here for now. I had to make a trip back to my old base to grab everything I left. There was a buffoon ferox nearby and these guys are extremely aggressive, I think. Back on the mainland there was a female for my Peter, so I went to act quickly and talk her into dating my Peter. It must have been a good talk, because Gwen is now on the team. Gwen clearly doesn't know how to handle the landing, so I had to jump up on her back and guide her to the tippity top. I'm forcing them to have some sexy time together so I could have my fertilized egg to give it to your mom. I put the egg aside for now since I wanted some crystal for a spyglass and some soul balls, and I managed to scout some kind of cave, crystal. And it actually had a bit of crystal. There was a bit of silica in the water too, but it didn't feel entirely safe though. A dolphin was aggressively swimming towards me. With the crystal I obtained, I was able to make an awesome spyglass and finally get the reading where the hell I am. I wanted to explore the island more thoroughly, but the spirit Rex had me sweating, so I flew back. But I wasn't alone.
No! No, don't do it!
Why are you guys following me? Oh, okay. Why is there birds attacking my base now? Okay, there goes Gwen, and I died to... Matt. I was gonna try getting back to my body, and I died to fall damage a second time. Oh, yeah, lag. Okay, well, yeah, let's just experience it again. I was out of bed spawns again, and I died on the beach. So I went AFK to grab some food until the beds were available again. So, I am now stuck up here with no flyer, and getting up and down from here will be a bit annoying. Well, that isn't exactly true. I still had that fertilized egg, but I needed to hatch it, so I put down some fire. I made a bit of cementing paste so I can make a grappling hook to get up here easier. Then I went down to my body using a parachute, so there was no risk there. I'm terrible at this game. Upping the armor might help a bit, I think. On day 4, I went for a night exploration, sweating my ass off, but I was really desperate for a new flyer. That's a necrotic dodo! No, 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 I don't want to do anything with you. I saw it. I saw another Terra where I tamed the other one before, but he didn't want to come to the beach. So I tamed the parrot instead. I ran down the beach only to be backstabbed by a necrotic dodo? I didn't even see it. I then got jumped by a buffoon ferox I never saw. Primal Fear. Well, the Terra baby had finally hatched, so I just gave it a bit of food and then I made a new set of tools before jumping off the spire to take out my anger on the dinos on the beach. I got stuck watching a buffoon megatherium fighting a monkey. Clearly, the megatherium was the winner and it gave me the spoils of the monkey. Very nice! It was getting really late, so I had to put up my loadout mannequin then log out for the day. On day 5 while I was logging in, I logged into a manticore killing me and my new dino. What?! What is that login? Bro! What the f... I made some flak armor that probably won't help at all, but now I'm basically forced to find new pterodon and move from this spot. I was gonna be somewhat smart and prep to look for a new flyer, but the manticore had other ideas. Oh no! He knocked me out! He destroyed something in my base! So he destroyed my beds in the process while he killed me. Now this outcome was very bad. Well then, now I have to work on getting a few tools going again just to get up to my destroyed base. I put up a temporary base so I would be able to melt a bit of metal and make some tools, but it was gonna take a while. So with a bit of editing, we're gonna fast forward this. After making all of the preparations for a new tame, I saw a Terra. Finally. I knocked it out, fed it and picked up my new temp base while it was taming up. Alright, now I got an upgraded Peter too, with higher levels and everything, so it was time to see if my bod was still there. I managed to get back up there, and there was just a few minutes left on the bags and my corpse. But so far everything seems to be there. After the archer did a surprise attack, maybe it was time to make some sort of box for now to keep everything safe. The box was now fully closed up, so no more surprise attacks, please game. After that I went to the cave to kill off an arena for some chitin. Then I would be able to make a bit of cementing paste. After making a bit of paste, I could make the fabricator. I started making some electronics immediately, then went out to look for a new possible tame to get. Then I managed to find a high level female, so I bowled and tried knocking it out. But I had aggroed stupid Fable Moralatops all of a sudden. Well, I got away by being a spooder man. There was also a toxic dodo I could kill to feed the Terra.
Oh my god!
It was taking a while, so I went out in search of a mantis or something to kill for some polymer. But I couldn't find any, so I went back to my Terra and I headed home. Akisa offered to make a trade for some polymer if she could have some tools made. So with the polymer trade, I was able to make the awesome teleporter. Akisa had given us a few tasks to accomplish before day 100 is over.
Alrighty Mike, I've got some challenges for you. Before day 50, you'll have to kill your first origin boss for tech grams. Before day 75, you'll have to kill Nova, Pikkon, and Skynet. And before day 100 is over, you'll have to defeat Pikkon's Revenge and the hidden bosses.
I secured the area under my base so nothing bad would spawn there and get my base destroyed again. Then I went out in search of penguins, but I didn't see any, so I picked up a bit of oil instead since I was there. I picked up some pearls too, despite it being very dingy in the water. Then I managed to find some penguins who were willing to give me some polymer. How nice of them. I was gonna try taming them first, but the trank arrows did nada.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I scouted a bag full of loot, so I basically YOLO'd it. I had farmed a bit of resources and I was trying to head home, but there was a lot of dangerous creatures wanting a piece of me. Yep, it didn't end well.
I knew it.
It is now day 9 and I was looking for a new possible base spot and I flew around for quite a bit. Then I found a very beautiful area where it looked safe. So I went back home to farm some stones so I could make a few gates to block off the area. I wasn't sure how much I needed to block off this section, but this would just have to do for now. I was gonna try making somewhat of a base that was safe.
I like the sound of that.
Then I went back to my old base to grab everything I needed for the new base. So, that's interesting. When I teleported back, some scorpions had spawned in for no apparent reason. Is my foundation spam not blocking enough spawns? Huh. There was also a potential doed I could tame up in my base, so I locked it in between some billboards for now. I had switched up the dumb settlers design to stone for now. I remembered how easy a normal dino can destroy it, so I went full into stone. I was gonna need that doed now, so I decided to knock it out so I could use him to farm some stone I need. He joined the team after his belly got filled to the brim. Then I took him out to farm that great deal of rock. I continued building the base while Akisa was waiting for me to open a portal for her, so she could farm metal. So I had to go open the teleporter for Akisa. I took this opportunity to farm some resources as well. I was gonna try killing a few bugs for some chitin, but the tarantula had me cornered.
Oh no!
I had my fair share of fun in the caves, so I continued building the base for now. There. Now the base was fully protected from most things in this mod. Waking up to a manticore killing me wasn't exactly pleasing. Then I farmed a bit of more crystal so I could build a greenhouse for crops. They are very important in fact. I knocked out a few dodos and I shoved my bears into them. I needed these so I would be able to make the first tier of kibble. For people who haven't played Primal Fear before, I just want to quickly explain how to advance in the tiers. There are 8 tiers of creatures you can tame to progress throughout the mod. Starter, Toxic, Alpha, Elemental, Apex, Omega Fabled, Celestial and Demonic, and then Spirit and Chaos. And to advance throughout the tiers, you need eggs from the previous tiers and some crops down the line. I found a few trilobites in the river here that I dragged up on the beach to kill for black pearls. Then I will be able to make a mining drill. I think I got too greedy for trilobites.
Oh, okay, I'm dead. Alpha Carcinos and...
A bit later I went out to farm some metal while a monkey found some interest in me.
Why is the monkey trying to go for me? Why did it lag there?
Suddenly I had sheep in my base? Hello?
That means a demon sheep can spawn there.
I had to put down a few foundations outside to prevent random ass spawn of dinos near my base. I had to go out and search for a tame that could farm berries easier. I found a flower field, then proceeded trying knocking out the parasaur while a tech raptor swung by for a quick snack. Then I continued on building my greenhouse. Towards the end of the day, the greenhouse was finally built and Akisa came over to flush the toilet for me since I had no dung beetles yet. Then I went out again in search of a parasaur and I actually came across one, but it was very close to demonic para, but I was gonna chance it.
Okay!
Yeah, that was a very bad idea. Over at the green obelisk, I managed to find a parasaur to tame that was relatively safe. That was so messy just to get the parasaur. Then I farmed a bit outside the base, but it barely gave me any seeds I needed. So I went over to another area for any kind of bushes and it gave me all the seeds I needed for the crops. I planted the seeds and all I had to do now was wait, so I could make my first tier of kibble. I've been having to listen to this stupid bulldog for the entire playthrough today. It's been quite annoying. And for the rest of the day I stayed up on the spire AFKing. The next day I made 2 beer barrels for some beer so the gardener stays happy. I asked Akisa to come help me kill this stupid Odecorus because I wanted him off my property. We finally killed it and I harvested it for some keratin so I would be able to make an S+ hatchery. And I made a few bone gates to keep the wildlife off the beach. That bulldog had me going mental. Akisa just had to come over and flex that she made it to the alpha tier already. I haven't even reached toxic. Oh my god.
You like my dodo?
No! So the reason why me and Akisa haven't wrapped up yet is because we wanted to reach the alpha stage on our own so we would get more of a genuine starter experience. Well, it was time for me to make some toxic kibble and get started. Everything was prepared for it now. I used the primal spear to knock out the toxic dodo, very cheap and effective for this. I got my first toxic dodo and now I need a female. The male will just increase the production speed of eggs. I slapped them into the terminal and enabled egg production, and all I gotta do now is wait. After a few minutes they had produced 2 eggs for me, so now I was able to make the alpha kibble and get myself a pair of alpha dodos. I went out and then tamed the alpha dodo, which put me in the alpha stage now. So before the day was over, me and Akisa tribed up.
Welcome to Sentient Sea Slugs.
Akisa had to show off her Elde Ukti.
If you can't beat him, join him, Mike.
It was disgusting. So it's been more than a week since I last played, but the dodos have been very productive and maxed out the soul terminal. Jesus, the crop plots had run out of fertilizer too, so we had to produce some more. Akisa was so excited to show off her new mask. It's kinda odd how she keeps finding these things. I had to try them out for myself. Well, the next day we were gonna try to go out and tame an elemental dino. I spotted a kamikaze dodo on the beach which was already lit on. I hoped he would die and explode from one trank arrow, but he fell asleep instead. So, we tamed it. Either way, I was leading a caustic parrot in the trap and then my Terra died from it. No! Yeah, I do not think we're ready for elemental dinos just yet. The trank arrows alone weren't enough. On the very next day I went out in search of an alpha griffin instead, so I had something to use to kill with. So then I placed down my gates and then lured the griffin in the trap. I didn't really have any tranks on me, so I had to use the primal spear for this, and it did really good. On day 19 I was out looking for another griffin and I almost died to some sort of chaos dino I couldn't see. A bit later I found another griffin, but it was next to spirit griffin, which could prove to be a problem. So I looked for a flat surface and then I placed down my trap. Getting the griffin's attention was a bit tricky, but he eventually followed. I am such a dumbass, I accidentally opened the front gate.
No, open the gate.
While I was poking this griffin with a stick, a dodo vyvern backstabbed me.
Oh!
Uh-oh.
I was able to teleport back to the griffin, but the dodo vyvern was still there. What was I thinking with? Well, third time's the charm, like they say, and the dodo vyvern was nowhere to be seen. There. Now, we have a pair of them in case we just somehow get any of them killed. Still, I had no clue what to do with the kamikaze dodo, but he was super sus, so we left it in the corner of the base. There was an iguanodon outside the base that I knocked out. I would need its conversion of bears for seeds, so I would be able to make some more Primal Fear narcotics. I then tried out the griffin and he did quite good damage. I went on a killing spree, killing most of the fabled creatures I could. And this bracket dropped the very primal shotgun. It's a beast for killing PF dinos. On day 20 I farmed a bit of metal again since I was waiting for Akisa to get ready to get some elemental dinos. We were gonna get these caustic parrots since I believe they do torpor to dinos. I got the parrot's attention now and he followed me into the trap like a good little boy. Akisa tried out her toxic turtle and it took so much damage. The parrot knocked out Akisa in the process. I poked the parrot with a stick up his bum and it became my friend. A bit later we found a male for it, but it was a bit trickier to lure it into the trap this time. Oh no! Akisa got knocked out again in the trap.
Managed. My god, dude.
Well then, now we had a pair of them so we could obviously breed them. But we would need their eggs for the apex kibble as well. A bit later, a bunch of babies were finally grown up for both me and Akisa. We made a few healing stews so we could heal up the parrots because we were gonna try them out. The parrot's poison can knock you out. What?
No! Oh my god, you can apparently knock out yourself.
I guess I was wrong also. The caustic parrot doesn't do any torpor to any wild creature at all. We went a bit later to the tippy top mountain on Olympus to kill the twin centurions for levels. I made an industrial cooker as well and a primal food cooker because why not? The industrial cooker would be useful for some veggie cakes for snails and the primal food cooker seemed new. I haven't seen that one before. The primal food cooker had some interesting recipes, especially the veggie cupcake. We made a few of those cupcakes and we're gonna try them out with the parrot.
Oh, the cupcake was a lie. Oh wait, what? It doesn't work at all, Akisa.
Interesting. I didn't realize it because of the bugs living in this cave, but the cave was filled with the crystal I have been looking for. Then I went for a food break while Akisa was playing around in the base. She managed to kill a kamikaze dodo and blow herself up in the process. Wow, that precious kamikaze dodo was killed by one punch from Akisa. So, before we were turning off for the day, we were gonna go tame some apex dillos, so I made a bit of apex kibble. I went out and I found a pair of apex dillos. Perfect. So I knocked them out and I tamed them. Slammed them both into the terminal and I called it a day. Today I wanted to make a bit of that juicy elemental advanced kibble, but we were lacking out on electric feathers, so I would have to go out and get that. When I got to the desert, I found a Biorex. It was just a humongous Tech Rex. I don't know what it's for. The desert was stockpiled of Titanosaurs, for sure. I managed to find an electric parrot I could kill for some feathers, but when I was gonna chainsaw, a necrotic dodo came over and stole the corpse of its feathers.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Oh hell no! No, I didn't get any feathers!
Well, that didn't end well. So I had to go out and look for another electric dino, but stumbled upon this electric griffin. I got a few feathers off him, but hopefully it was enough for some kibble. There was a light feather light up in the redwood, so I went back to base to see if I could make a few pieces of kibble.
Oh, we can do 8. Perfect.
Now I have no clue what came over me. I could have simply just shot it again and possibly survived. It went out after 2 shots and she happily joined the team. A bit later I found the male featherlight I was looking for. It was a bit scary to try taming it since it was literally next to a necrotic wyvern.
I got it though.
I got back home and Akiza told me to be careful around the gate since we had a lurking buffoon dodo outside. It could level our entire structure like it's not even there. Then I made a few apex narcotics since I wanted some better darts. We were gonna try going for an advanced elemental griffin today. We had located a light griffin, but leading it into the trap proved to have some design flaws. I was trying to come up with a temporary solution when he just flew into the trap willingly. It worked for some reason now. But when Akiza teleported to the location, she opened the gate and baited a loot boss.
Akiza, what the f***? You opened the gate!
The wandering loot boss was still there, so I had to try leading him away. I succeeded in leading him away, so I picked up the trap and I moved it to another spot. Then I took Squawks to the trap and Akiza closed the door. Vad fan? I really just had to die for that? We knocked him out and then fed him. We just needed a female for him now so we could breed him. I didn't quite realize it, but the Fedlight was actually quite decent. I've been relying too much on the Griffins lately. I was gonna try leading the Buffoon Dodo away from our base, but that didn't end well.
Oh! It wasn't even close!
Interesting. I think the Nuka Dodo killed the Buffoon as well, because I couldn't see it around anymore. I killed my first demonic too, which wasn't too difficult. It dropped some good loot for me though. When I was just about to clear the terminal of all these dodo eggs, Akiza was messing around like usual. Oh my god. I took Shop to the swamp to farm some rare flowers since we would need them for some more narcotics, and a capper joined my Shop from me.
Woo!
I got back to my griffin and I picked up the flowers, then I continued farming with Shop.
What? What? It's snoggling controlled. What? I was looting him. Oh no, Shop is killing me.
Oh my god.
While I got back to the swamp to pick up Shop and I rage quit for the day. I started the day by throwing out some feather lights for breeding. I will need quite a lot of elemental feathers. I noticed we had a visitor as well. The primal outside was scaring me a bit, so I put down more gates just in case. I went out in search of a Grifficorn, but when I was about to put down my trap, a Reaper backstabbed me. I got back to the Grifficorn and I got my revenge on the Reaper Queen. I was very close to being caught by Spirit Thyla's attack. That was very surprising to me. I somehow trapped the Grifficorn in the trap and I managed to fly out.
Oh! Wait, I could do that?
One Grifficorn down, just need a mate for it. I flew around for a bit looking for another Grifficorn, but came across a skeletonized T-Rex.
Bone meal. Oh yeah. Oh god, it needs kibble and feathers from everything. It needs souls. It needs demonic emperor souls. A celestial emperor soul. Okay.
A bit later, I spotted a necrotic wyvern. It has terrible hit rate. That's just great.
No, it wasn't a hit.
I managed to fly into his attack and I got grounded. Then saw a loot boss coming for me.
No! Come on, teleport away, please. Oh god.
I managed to get back to the necrotic wyvern and I did him dirty with a sneak attack from the sky. Yeah, that was kinda dumb. And I risked it to tame this wyvern. Well then, when I came back to the wyvern, it wasn't tamed yet.
Put food in. What did I give it? I gave it fabled kibble. I'm a dummy.
I had the proper kibble this time and I fed it, but I got chased by a lot of random dinos.
Oh, the primal is back!
I managed to get away and back to the wyvern alive. The necrotic wyvern is like a glass cannon. It does some really good fire damage and grounds flyers. I took out the Captain Black Bowler without too much of a struggle. And a demonic parasaur, apparently. I had to try it out again. The demonics take quite a lot of damage from the necrotic wyverns. This dodo wyvern didn't stand a chance against it. What a wonderful creature this is.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh well, the fun is over. I had the task at hand and that was taming a few fabled pterodons for their eggs. And while I was taming one of them, I had trouble on the beach.
And Pegomastix took your teleporter, of course, on the beach.
Then I went for a second female with a terrible hit reg. I killed my first celestial too. I had a lot of fun with this necrotic wyvern. A bit later, the fun was finally over when a buffoon Ferox ruined my day and scared me.
No!
That is the last fabled Terra I needed. A male to increase the production speed for eggs. I came across a buffoon dodo, which is new to me, so I wanted to tame it this time. I shot a few darts and kept my distance away from the nuka-dodos.
Oh yeah!
It's relatively easy to tame, and the minions it summoned is pretty fun to play around with.
Boom! Oh my god!
A bit later into the night, I found a buffoon Terra bird. These guys are really fun, I've heard. I ran into a problem, however. I was out of darts, so I went back home to make more. When I came back, there was a loot boss nearby me, so it made everything aggro to me. I managed to get back to the Terror Bird, I knocked him out and fed him. The damage it did was surprisingly good. I could take out the demonic bulldog without any problems. Not even a demonic sheep stood a chance against this beast of a bird. I even took out the skeletonized Tyrannosaurus with this. The bird was just too good. I took out my first primal creature in a quite cheesy way though. This is awkward. I didn't really think through it, so I died from my own bird's fire? Well done. I got back to its corpse to harvest up the blood. I was gonna need that to make my first primal darts in order to tame my first demonic creature. Then I threw out a few babies to grow up for the end of the day. The next day I logged into the server. I started by chainsawing up some featherlights for feathers and fabled for blood. So, we were gonna need some toxic narcotics for darts, but we were out of rare mushrooms. Then I went out for fabled Therizino since they can harvest up to 4 or 5 times as much as normal, I believe. I saw some kind of structure that I believed had an explorer note nearby, but I didn't realize there was an origin artery nearby, so I just lost a Therizino. I didn't even get to use it.
Oh no!
Then I had flown over to another swamp with some trees that could be harvested for rare mushrooms. But there was a chaos nearby killing Shop with its aura. So I asked Akisa for help, but she was occupied with the primal shark. After the shark was dead, we went back to the swamp and Akisa was gonna kill the bee with the terror bird. But we got jumped by a demonic cat bro.
Oh yeah, I was killed by a demonic Caprasuchus.
No, my terror bird! The next day, I had decided to tame a fabled stego to try it out to see if it was any better than the Moshops. So I knocked it out and I went back to base to make some fabled kibble. Wow. To be honest, it wasn't that good. So I used the chainsaw instead, which gave me way more than the stego did. I was able to make some more toxic narcotics so I could make the apex and then turn it into darts and get some omega dinos. I settled for an omega sarco and I was trying to trank it. Then my griffin got noggin controlled. Well, I got back and I tamed it up. But I got attacked by an apex wolf. Damn, this mod is brutal.
Jesus, is that an apex?
Of course. We couldn't find any more omega sarcos, so we had decided to tame 2 omega alloys that were close to each other in the desert. The female, however, was in a really bad spot with the celestial aloe and a spirit griffin nearby, so I had to try leading the celestial aloe away. Then I tamed it up and we had a pair of them aloes. Back at base, I bred the aloes for another egg and I got the female. Then I threw out all of the babies as a sacrifice since we needed those elemental feathers. I logged in the next day with an abundance of flyers to harvest for the feathers and blood. It was now time to finally get some demonics and get some big pump damage dealers. I also made a few primal darts because it's a demonic we're taming. Those apex darts would probably work, but after a few hundred darts, so yeah. Then I found a high level demonic, but I would just have to wait for it to wander away from the other one a bit. So I gave it until the morning. Well, I did start taming it in a cheesy way, but I was trying to lead it to the mainland. I was doing my best to avoid every bit of hellfire of spikes and get as many shots in as possible. But I didn't pay attention to one thing and I ran out of darts.
Oh no, I ran out of darts.
So I had to go back to the base to make a few more darts. Then got back to the thorny dragon and I had to chase him around.
You're so close.
Nice. Now I got my very first demonic, so I will be able to attempt my first origin boss. It's been so long, and getting the feelings back to this awesome kind of damage was a great feeling.
Oh my god.
I killed the primal shark with ease. A bit later, I spotted an origin RG that I took out. It took about 5 minutes to kill, but at least I was able to defeat my first origin before day 50. I went for another origin RG on the island along with the Carno. They gave me a few good armor pieces with 0 durability. Now that's what you call an upgrade. So on day 37 I was able to make my first origin arrows, and they knock out anything with 1 arrow. I flew around for a bit trying to see if I could find any demonics, but I went back to the one from before. The one that was close to the first one I baited away. This was kinda easy with the arrow, but it would literally one-shot my featherlight if I got hit by the spikes. So now with these demonics I could breed them for some more. I went for an origin raptor this time to get a token and some tech grams. Then a bit later I went for an origin direbear. He did a lot of damage, but he was not alone.
This guy is not messing around. Especially when I have 2 of them!
I killed them both by day 38. There was an artifactor next to the green obelisk I had to kill for its artifact, since it's very important for making kibble and tokens. Then I went out to take on an origin Kairoku, since we were still missing a few tech grams like the replicator. Back at the base, I was able to make the S+ replicator now and a tech gem.
Generator, awesome.
I was gonna show a keys at the entrance to the ab cave I found, but there was an origin Rex on the way there, so we were gonna kill that first.
Oh, is it gonna die? Oh, nice.
Yay!
It took quite a while to get it down, but I got some cool engrams and a token, of course. So when I was gonna show a keys at the way to the cave entrance, I got shot down by celestial ferox.
You're gonna be very shocked. Oh.
What?
What just killed?
I barely survived that. I am kinda sad I lost that very griffin, but it's fine. I had other things at hand to work on, especially this origin Spino. It went down on day 39.
Nice!
Akisa wanted this demonic bulldog, so we had to knock it out.
Whoa!
It was super zoomy into water.
Did you see what he did? He zoomed up there.
I looked around the whole map and I couldn't find any origin environments, so I decided to make the summoner for it. This one is so annoying to do and takes a while, so Akisa came to the rescue. It got killed after a few minutes and we got our last set of tech grams.
Nice.
Then a bit later, after killing all of those origins, I had some origin arrows made so I can knock out these turtles. They will passively produce rare flowers and mushrooms I need for healing potions. Well, I figured it was about time to get some celestials since we needed their eggs as well. I had set my eyes on an RG and I actually missed a few origin arrows. That's very expensive.
Oh, I missed again. This time I tagged it. Whoa. Come on, come on, come on. I hear explosions.
There was another high level next to it that I didn't realize, so I knocked it out as well. Obviously, I started breeding them since I wanted more of them in the soul terminal. The next day, I started by making a few fabled health potions since we had turtles passively producing the flowers now, so I didn't have to be shy with our stuff. Akisa hadn't seen the buffoon dodo yet, so I had to show it to her.
Oh, he's beautiful.
The nuka dodos were very successful at demolishing our walls like they weren't even there, including Akisa. So while I was tracking down the manticore, I got kicked out of the server.
Oh no, I crashed out of the game!
So when I logged back in, I was dead, probably because my character fell to its death.
I died. Oh, of course.
Well, I had located a manticore, but it proved to be some difficulties.
What?
And then it just died to some chaos griffins. My featherlight got knocked out from one of his abilities. I went for another manticore that I was just gonna put in the soul terminal for boss eggs. All I had to do was gender swap it. I went on a killing spree killing penguins for polymer since I couldn't make a mutator for gender swapping the manticore. A bit later, I took out an artifactor since I couldn't make any more boss kibble. I was completely out of artifacts. I decided to tame broodmothers instead for egg production, since there were 2 of them on the map. Then I tamed out the last broodmother I needed. So towards Alpha next. I took the Celestial Artery out to try it, and while it does some impressive AoE damage, it's not stronger than a demonic for DPS, but it was definitely fun to use. I started by killing a bunch of origins by day 44. It took a while, but we needed their blood and tokens. I am somewhat of an idiot. Why in the heck did I decide to land on top of an enemy?
That's so great! I got pummeled to the ground by raptors!
Well, I managed to get back and get my revenge. Akisa needed some aid tranking a Celestial Seeker she wanted. I had to take a hit for it, but that's okay. On day 46, I had made the tier 2 summoners for the Demonic Reaper and Emperor, and some health potions. I set out an area where I could summon the bosses. This area looks pretty good for this.
We are doing Demonic Reaper Emperors first. Cool. Attack! Attack the ground!
Oh, don't bring her over to me. I'm trying to get out Buttonhead.
Akisa brought her pudding head for this fight. The innocent poor bulldog was tanking it like a beast.
We did it!
It gave us 2 pieces of demonic gear. Then we summoned the Emperor.
3, 2, 1, boom!
And when we kill them, we get the tameable summoners from the bosses. It's pretty easy taming this with the origin arrows.
Okay, easy.
Akisa gave me her summoners too for me to trank out. Next up was the Spirit and Chaos boss, but they required a lot of things to farm. Well then, let's get to work. I had an interesting encounter with the Tortuga which summoned all of the stupid birds.
And if they stole all my health potions? You kidding me?
While I was out farming for souls, I managed to run into Demonic Empress. I quickly called Akisa for help. Yikes. I ran into an artifact as well for artifacts, very important for making boss kibble. Then I continued the next few days farming a bit of demonics and celestials, which took forever. So on day 56, I made the summoners for the Chaos and Spirit boss. I summoned it in a very flat area. While we were fighting the Spirit Guardian, Akisa accidentally dismounted, so I jumped off my mount to save her Indominus.
I died because of it.
And for some reason, the Spirit Bomb it did, it literally one-shot the Reaper Empress.
Is this scary for you? Whoa, that's scary!
fuck?
I got back to the fight on my Thorny and I shot from a distance. Agisa had loaned me her Empress and we were fighting in the desert now. The boss had pushed us this far. Whoa. Boy. When Agisa ran past me, the boss fired its homing missile at me. It did not end well.
I do believe you may have died.
After I fell to my death, Agisa followed with her last Emperor we had.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I had all the potions activated. It didn't stop it.
We were almost out of Dinos, so I got back to the Spirit Wyvern and basically let it circle around me and my Hellfire. Yeah, it seems to work with the Reaper. While I was tanking the boss, Agisa shot from a distance with the Thorny. We finally killed it before the day was ending. It took us 1.5 hours to kill this boss. Bro, that was intense.
Finally.
With the boss finally killed, I was able to make the Spirit Orb to tame my first Spirit Dino. There was a decently leveled Spirit Wyvern up, so I shot my Origin Arrow at it and basically kited it around the map until it got knocked out.
I'm now drowning.
There was also a second one up, but it was a really low level, but I could basically just let them breed continuously until I had a perfect merged one.
Oh.
I flew around on my new killing machine and it was super strong for being a low level one. On the start of day 60, I made a bit of alpha boss kibble since I was gonna go tame an alpha Dino. And not too far away, there was a female nearby, so I tamed her up too. Then I would have some alpha boss eggs so I could work on getting apex bosses afterwards. Next day, I saw another high level Spirit Wyvern, so I made a few origin tracks and the Spirit Orb and I went out to tame it. Then obviously, I started breeding that high level one to get some better ones. Pretty late into the new night, the Wyvern was ready and I had to try it out. It had absolutely no problem of taking down an origin boss.
What?
There was one of these skeletonized Tyrannosaurs again, but this time I actually wanted this one because it was quite high level. It does seem to be immune to origin arrows, so I tried a few primal darts too, but they didn't seem to do much. So I decided to go out and tame myself an apex manticore.
I tagged it.
I got back to the Tyrannosaur and I started blasting it with the Manticore. It was almost knocked out, so I went back to base to make a bone meal so I could tame it. Wow, I finally got my first skeletonized Tyrannosaur. He walks extremely slow, but he looks so cool. Then it was time for the other guardian, the Wyvern of Chaos. It one-shots the Spirit Wyvern. Now that's interesting.
So, you see me?
I had to try it, But the Tyrannosaur got one-shot too, like what the hell? It took a very long time, but then we eventually killed it. Maybe it's actually better if you start off with the Chaos Guardian instead of Spirit. It might be that the Chaos creatures are supposed to go up against the Spirit Guardian, but I don't know. I haven't played this in a while, I don't remember. Then I was able to make my first Chaos Orb. I had set my eyes on a high level Chaos Griffin, so I shot my arrow and waited for it to fall asleep. On day 66, I was gonna get Akisa a B because she has been complaining to me this whole playthrough that she wanted a Chaos B. The hitbox on this dumbass B was almost non-existent and the origin arrow didn't actually work. So I took in my manticore to knock it out and it took quite a while. Here you go, man. Yes. I was gonna try making the artifact a summoner, but we didn't have enough. He's very expensive to make, but he can drop about 18 to 24 artifacts. The only thing I didn't have was a good apex creature to harvest blood from. So I went out to tame 2 apex thornies. I killed off a lot of dinos for their blood, since we were gonna need an extreme big amount of it. For summoners. I threw out even more of the babies to grow up so I could harvest even more. Then I flew out in search of origins to kill for tokens. We killed a lot of origins for tokens, and since there are 2 of us, we get twice as many tokens. I was finally ready and able to make the artifact descended.
Oh my god, 250 million HP.
After we killed him, we got a buttload of artifacts. So on day 71, I was throwing out more babies to kill. There was another Chaos Griffin up, so I made the Chaos Orb and I flew out to it. There we go, I tamed it up. And then back at the base, I threw it into the propagator and I let them breed for more babies. Well, Akisa had robbed my base again, and then she had to show off the new secret base she was building. I wasn't allowed to see it despite I knew she was working on it. This was a really good looking masterpiece. Anyways, today's task was to take down all of the bosses in tier 5. Nova the Destroyer, Pikkon the Creator, and Skynet. On my way to the battlefield, I spotted an Empress out in the wild, quite frightening. Oh, here we go! We summoned in our first Nova the Destroyer.
That looks very dangerous.
We killed it by day 73, but I had trouble finding the egg. I honestly thought it didn't drop it or it got meshed.
Oh wait, I see it!
Then we summoned in Pikkon the Creator. So how I like to do this fight is with the Spirit Wyvern. The boss is big and the ability I have is a very big range for this, so it's perfect. And for some reason, Pikkon the Creator is attracted to the Spirit Wyvern. We got the fertilized egg, so we went back to base to drop it off to incubate. The next day, it was time for the Skynet boss, and he grunts flyers immediately.
I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue what it can do. Ouch! It bites me for 1 million! I'm dead.
Akisa was thinking the Skeletonized Rex is the one to use with this fight. There was a pretty high level one up. Then I took my Apex Manticore to knock out the Skeletonized Tyrannosaur.
Okay, bone meal. Nice.
So with the Ascension and Descension item, I can make the Infernal Transformation item for the Skeletonized Tyrannosaur. We managed to get back to the battlefield and it was time for round 2, fighting the Skynet boss. The boss seems to summon a lot of primal minions that are actually hard to kill.
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Am I really tanking him?
Yeah.
Bruh, are you serious? The Infernal Rex was definitely the one for this fight. He could stand up to the Skynet boss somehow.
Oh.
We killed Skynet by day 75. It took a very long time to do this fight, but we did have a problem after we killed it, however. Do you guys see what I'm seeing? Yeah, this is a very important item for making the Skynet. So the Skynet drops a blueprint on the ground to make your own Skynet, but I couldn't pick it up since I had a horde of minions on me. And before the day was over, I threw out Pikkon and Nova to grow up. We didn't have too much to do, so we just chilled and waited for Pikkon and Nova to raise up until day 81. The babies had finally grown up. So I had to check what was on the agenda today on the scanner. We want to kill the wild Indominus real quick. Then we track down the Reaper Empress as well. So today we were gonna do 2 Novas and 2 Pikkons for the souls, since that's all we need for the Colossus and Pikkon's revenge. And since we are 2, we get 2 souls instead of 1. So we started off by killing a few origins. I was able to make 2 Novas and 1 Pikkon, so we would have to fight the demonic empress again. Somehow the minions dismounted me in the midst of battle.
What? They dismounted me!
I got back to the fight and I got the soul. When we summoned the Nova, the infernal skeletonized Tyrannosaur got melted by it. We needed that Rex to try Skynet again, since we didn't get the blueprint last time.
We needed that for Skynet.
But I had all the potions.
What do you mean had all the potions? Did you use them?
Yeah.
We then killed Nova after a while.
More purple.
I then summoned in Pikkon the Creator, but he was nowhere interested in the Griffin or the Nova.
Hey worm, come get me.
So I decided to jump up on a spirit environment to attract his attention, and it worked. After he had his fun of pushing me around the map, he got killed. We needed to fight him again though. I did honestly not pay attention to my health here, so I died. When I got back, Pikkon was stuck in a waterfall, so we killed him there. We went out to tame another skeletonized Tyrannosaur, so we could use him for the Skynet boss again. Time to summon in Skynet. This one had way more HP than the last one. This fight had my PC up in flames, literally. My spyglass was so bugged out, but the Kisa notified me that it was half HP. During the fight, I actually disconnected, so it was just too laggy, I think.
I got disconnected!
My Nova had died while I was trying to reconnect. I grabbed another Nova and I joined the fight. This time my spyglass was actually working, so hopefully no more disconnects, please.
200 million.
Man, you gotta love the FPS. I have about 10. 9 million?
Under 100 million.
Nice, come on. Nice. There. Oh my god, we killed it. Akisa got the blueprint, then we both died somehow. What?
I died.
I died too! Well, to summon your own Skynet, you had to make a lot of other stuff beforehand. I left Akisa to make all of the remaining stuff to make a Skynet, while I went out to tame another Apex Manticore. When I came back to base, I made Artifactor the Ascended since we needed a bit of artifacts again. Oh my god, that's so many artifacts. I was just making a few preparations for 4 Colossus boss fights. It's just a precaution so we don't accidentally, you know, pull the items. It was now day 88 and we were still making stuff for our own Skynet to this day. I spec'd into full crafting skill to make this blueprint. Then we summoned him in our old base. He was a beast with almost 40 million HP. Oh my god, his damage was so destructive that my internet couldn't handle it. Oh! Outgoing, reliable, buffer overflow. On day 89, I spotted a spirit manticore on the scanner, so I made the spirit boss Kibble for it. I tracked him down, but I only got one shot at this, because look at that. That's really sick. I managed to tag him, so all I had to do was avoid his attacks and wait. Oh, I tagged him. Oh! Monster. He is an absolute beast of a creature. I could tell the kids had been here due to the missing trees. Finally, I was able to make the Colossus boss summoners. It was then time for the electric Colossus. And for some reason, the Infernal Tyrannosaur couldn't survive its attacks. Now it was just me and the boss. And some of the minions can actually dismount you. Well, that's unlucky. I got apparently hit by one of his one-shot abilities. Again. I decided to give this a try on my Spirit Manticore, so we could kill the minions easier. See anything? Oh, he's just standing still now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep throwing stuff at him while he's standing still.
This was a very long fight, but we got the medallion, so now we would only have to fight 3 more Colossus bosses. We summoned in the Ice Colossus afterwards, and it felt relatively easier than the electric one. Well, we did kill him by day 91 and got the medallion. On day 92, Akisa had requested for me to go out and tame a spirit beast since she wanted one. She was taming a new skeletonized Tyrannosaur instead. I had to go back her up since she ran out of darts.
Oh, that'd be so much easier.
We had a very weird encounter with an Origin Rex who had a poop of death moment. Then it was time to fight the Fire Colossus. Oh yeah, I forgot to say it, but we had installed the Mr. Fister's toggle damage numbers potion. It helped a lot with the frame rate. Afterwards, it was time for the Caustic Colossus.
Oh.
What a joke, he was so easy.
Jesus!
Today was time to defeat the last bosses in Tier 6. The Demonic Empress and Emperor rematch. Oh, it's a fallen. 563 million! I'm gonna be honest with you, it wasn't that difficult to defeat the Fallen Empress, nor the Ascended Emperor. We got the Descension and Ascension items from the bosses that we could use on our Dinos. The damage difference was quite a lot.
Wow, that's cool.
It's pretty good actually. On day 96, I made the summoners for Pikkon's Revenge since it might take a while to defeat. This is Akisa's first time fighting Pikkon's Revenge, so I explained it to her to always keep herself healed and the Dino. We have damage numbers off here so we don't have to hide our UI to look at our HP.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
He had 13 freaking billion HP. Holy!
Of course, he's just standing there screaming. Did you just get swung to me? Otherwise, you wouldn't do that ability. Jesus Christ, dude. Well, I guess I'll just sit there and take it. Where is he? Oh, he's standing there.
Finally, he went down on day 97. We pulled through, and no one died. When we killed him, he gave us the Torch of Destruction, which does millions of damage and torpor. So we made it! We beat Primal Fear. Or did we? Pikkon's big brother Nova had appeared and wanted revenge. And when I said it wanted revenge, I wasn't kidding. He clapped our other dinos like they weren't even there.
Jesus!
Come on, we're so close. We're gonna be finished with the mod if we do this, come on. Oh my god, wait, what? What does that mean? I will not fall here. I can't move. I'm literally stuck here. Not until every last one of you survivors is cold and dead. Uh-oh.
What?
Nova, God of Destruction?
What?
What? No!
I'm backing back up.
Dude! No! Don't leave me! Nikisa! Nova's God of Destruction had appeared. The very god of Primal Fear. She's in my face! Health potion disabled! She disables health potions!
Pardon?
I can't heal! Yeah, Nova God of Destruction tends to be more dangerous than Pikkon's Revenge. This is not beatable. I joined back on my fallen Empress, but she went down like I wasn't even there. It's not possible! Yeah! The only thing we had left was the Skynet. The reason why I didn't use it is because it's causing a lot of buffer overflows. Well, this might actually be doable with the Skynet as long as it doesn't disconnect me. Nova, God of Destruction had my 100% full attention. If I just blinked, I would possibly die. I basically face-planted my health bars and healing timers. This was the very last creature I had left to use. Much later, she managed to join the battle on her Ascended Indominus with max points into HP. It was doable for her, but she could barely damage him. $38 million, come on! This fight went on for an entire hour and we actually beat it. I honestly thought that this fight was gonna be unbeatable, because Akisa died with so many creatures and we lost literally everything except the Skynet. The loot we got from the God of Destruction was a minigun. It doesn't use any ammo at all, but the design is super cool.
The minigun.
Well, we had to try it out, and we took down an Origin Raptor with this. Well, to sum it up, Nova God of Destruction is on a whole different level than Pikkon's Revenge. One boss fight you will remember, it had me stressed out the whole time when we were fighting it. But nonetheless, Primal Fear is still a very fun mod to play. This will probably be the last time I will play Primal Fear on Ark Survival Evolved, since I will be waiting for Ark Survival Ascended. Anyhow, I hope you all enjoyed the video, so here's some shots of the base Akisa built.